Am I really live? Still waiting to see if I'm really live. Supposedly yes, but I'm really not sure, so how can I tell if I'm live? Maybe I need to go on YouTube and check my own channel to see if I'm really live, because yes, I think I'm yeah, I think I'm live, so nice. But I'm really not sure, so how can I tell if I'm live? Maybe. So since I'm already live, hello everyone. If you are watching in the northern part of the Americas, happy delayed Thanksgiving, because now it's over because it's Friday. I think it's Black Friday. I'm not sure, because in Portugal promotions are just, they begin in September, and it's just very, very annoying. But either way, I didn't have a lot of thing. Hello Scruff UK, it's already online. So hello, I think messages will appear in live. I'm still learning how to work with this. Yes, you can see on the bottom left corner of the screen, so you can see what I'm seeing. So it's saying evening to all. So Mihaya the 86 also hello. It might have slight delay. I will try to match my welcomings and my responses to when I see things in my own screen. But other than that, I didn't have a lot programmed for today. So basically, I just found some new stuff on AliExpress. Still a lot of coupons, and the coupons seem to be refreshing. So today I just bought, funny enough, nothing fishing related. I just bought a pair of noise cancelling phones from Baseos, and I had the discount. And after 5 minutes, I bought it. I was buying another pair for the missus, and it worked again. So if you want to buy smaller stuff, it might be a good time, because the coupons, even the small ones, seem to regenerate. So you have a lot of stuff in here. Black Friday says it ends in 9 hours for some reason, but in my affiliate page, they say it will go until the 3 of December. Probably it will change the name from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, but it's all the same. It's all discounts, so not a lot to see in here. I think the prices went up since 11/11, so bigger stuff, I think everyone bought them by now, so everyone is low on funds until we reach maybe Christmas. If you are growing up and you're not buying presents, you're just receiving money. And another thing, so since it's Thanksgiving Day somewhere, I'm very thankful, because I got 4,000 subscribers, which is quite cool. I didn't imagine it will reach that point when I started the channel. Mihaida managed to score a pure NVIDIA Max. Nice. I have the model below that, so the slightly lighter model, the 1.8. And it's pretty cool. I did not fish with it. I went out with a pure lure, also the Realm, this past couple of outings. Fishing is atrocious. I went out after barbel on the place that you see me catching the twitch head, and sometimes I've caught their small bass and sunfish. Bass and sunfish are completely gone, but at least I was trying to catch the barbel, and man, I didn't see any fish. So I went back to my small creek that you usually see me fishing on the winter, and I've caught a few chub. Nothing too big has entered the creek yet. I think next week we'll have rain, and with that maybe the bigger ones will come in. And cranking season is on, and that's what I'm talking about today. I just selected a few that I've been using on the last couple of outings. They've been working very well. But there's also new stuff. So here the perch are. Don't talk me about. You know that's one thing that I really want to catch perch. And in Portugal they are just not quite smart because they are electrofishing for perch on the only water system that we really have a big population. So yeah, it's sad. But talking about new stuff, I've bought this. Someone on the nice Scruff UK splurge on the Mi Fine Microbite aging. I've also got the that one, the casting version, the 0.5 to 5. Man, I think it's even better. I think the 118 and the 195 centimeter version, I think they are even better than the smaller ones. So I've blanketed 3 times. Yeah, I've almost skunked, but I ran very quickly to the creek and just caught one on the first cast actually. So not that bad, but after that in here it's very weird. So you have chub in the UK, and I don't know if that's the same over there, but in here when I'm using the cranks, soft plastics, they don't care. They pick up soft plastics all the time, especially even when it's cold and when it's very hot. Cranks only work in between, and it's like a 15-20 minute window. They will go crazy. You have to be very, very fast. Just cast sideways, diagonal to the stream. We go, let it drift on the current. Let it come with the current. They will bite it anyway, but it's just a brief window. It's very annoying. So I don't know if there it's the same, but in here it's quite weird. And most people in here catch them on the evening, but that's a no-no for me on most of the days. So, but again, talking about new stuff, I've ordered this. I think I paid 61 euros. Only 10 sold, but basically this is the Cast King Valiant Eagle Ultra. So I have this reel. I was actually spooling it today. So let me check. So I vanished for a bit, but I was picking the goodie. So you see, this one arrived a few days ago. I've already filmed all the unboxings. Scruff UK. Yeah, we have chub. I have only ever caught the one mind. I'm so noob. Perch, I could catch 30 plus in one session a month ago. Now there's nothing. I think perch, my idea from them is that they are like very roamy. So they will like pack and move together. That's the idea that I have from perch, but I usually only watch people catch perch in the US, because in the UK it lets me a little bit depressed, because I know I'm like a 20 euro Ryanair ticket from them, and it gets me very sad. For chub, the soft plastics are working 2 months a year for me. I use the BLUX ARS main. In here, hard baits, most people will catch chub with hard baits. I'm one of the few guys that will catch them with soft plastics and the smaller soft plastics, because usually people only target the bigger ones. But the bigger ones actually only start to be in decent numbers like I would say 3 to 4 kilometers were the place where I usually fish, and even then they are not that many. So I try to play a numbers game, and I will go after the higher percentages. And even if I'm fishing with super ultralight, it's more fun to catch more fish than one really big one. But they appear from time to time. I think this year I beat the PB chub on the very hot day, which is not usual. I've caught a chub on the it was hiding on the shade, but yeah, it's soft plastics for me. They work year round except the transition period. So right now in Portugal, at least here, it's quite hard to fish anything else than chub. You might start to get zander. You are getting pike, but it's like 2-3 hours by car on the highway for me, so it's very hard to do it in the morning. But either way, I was talking about, so this what I have on the screen, it's the Casking Valiant Eagle Ultra. I think they had a model like this only on China with the like Chinese dragon colors. And I have in here, and the camera will start to unfocus or delete the screen, but basically it's this reel with some upgrades. So the main difference are that mine, it's not a one-piece bail, and this one, let's see in here, it has a one-piece bail. The internals I think are the same, maybe some slightly upgrades because this has like a couple of years now, the Valiant Eagle, the normal one. I think this one it's even better than the Castrol. At least the mechanics on mine, it's a lot looser than the Castrol. I quite like it. For 30 something euros, this is a very good product. But again, the main difference on this one is that it has an aluminium alloy body. So I would call it the poor man's Stradic, something like that. Line lay, I have in here the Zukibo Fake, the 0.3p, and the camera will not get it, but the line lay, it's actually pretty awesome. As usual, everything that I show, it's linked on the description of the video. Yes, we've gone from very low water to sudden quite swollen rivers, at least very fast flowing, and the pockets I had succeeded out, have moved. Yeah, it's the same exact problem that we had in Portugal. So this year, I fished for bass the same exact way, other than like a couple of first sessions that I was fishing on the round lake, and I was using Ned rigs and wacky rigs. Other than that, bass fishing in here has been like all summer patterns. And the last time that I've caught bass, it was three weeks ago. I was on a t-shirt, and was actually, the sun was scorching. I was still sweating on the t-shirt. I've caught bass. It rained for like 1.5 2 weeks, and then straight to cold. So now on the morning you get 0 degrees and ice on the car, which is very annoying, and that's kaput. Every fish is gone. So the last outings that I had for bass, I've actually seen some trout, and not even trout was showing on my last few outings. So very annoying. But again, I was talking about the new stuff. So I ordered this one. I'm very eager to see if it's any good as the Valiant Eagle or the Castrol. It will be a very good value. Let me check mine. So no, this is the same as in mine, the lip. This could be a solid performer. You don't, Mihai, I don't have bass here. I never fished for one. Actually, bass are quite cool. My idea next year is to fish even more on the summer and try to extend the videos for them, because chub videos, even though they are cool to test like super ultralight stuff, they tend to be very, very repetitive, because the pockets in here for where you can catch numbers, so I'm filming, I want to catch fish, are very few, and the videos just get monotonous, at least the background, so it's a little bit annoying. But again, bass, it's the same thing, because most of the videos that I do with bass, I put on members only, because I don't want to shot the spot. Either way, I'm really looking forward for this kite, because aluminium body, it's quite good for this price point. But moving on new stuff, Mavlos released a DC reel. I think I've seen this reel before on AliExpress. 68 euros. I think it's the price for the first. Probably it will end up on 80 something, I think. So it actually looks quite cool. I don't know how it will be, but it says it can draw from 1.5, I think, to 10 grams somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, this is not the same as the one that you have on an Anatono, because that one doesn't have the LED. This is another system, or at least a different version. So this one, it says Birking, so that's where I know this guy. But basically it looks quite cool. I've seen the information somewhere. Okay, it's here, 1.5 grams to 10.5 grams. Not that shabby, a little bit on the expensive side for DC reel, but if it can cast the weights that are in here, it would be pretty cool. And the spool is not the deepest one that I've seen on DC reels. One thing, so I would not cover this usually, because I don't fish that heavy. This lure starts on 15 grams, but it looks so cool. And the only time that I fished with jerks or that type of like more elongated profile, I fished with ones, I think, from Meredith. The LED one is a copy of a Japanese exclusive model. It even has an app. If it has an app, I'm out. I don't want to have my Bluetooth device as connected successfully on my baitcaster. But I was talking about this reel. I really like these weight transfer systems. They are actually pretty cool. It has a rattle. It's too heavy for me, but I know that you guys on Northern Europe have a lot of pike everywhere, and this is probably pretty nice for it. It has spinny stuff, I think, so which is quite cool. And they will change color with the temperature. So what you see in here, it's the two-tone that they have when they change temperature. I don't know, because I didn't read it thoroughly, but look how cool the patterns look. So if we go in here, you see they look pretty awesome. Oops. So it's not for me, but if, yeah, Megabass weight transfer. I really dig the system. I thought it was a gimmicky. I think I have ones from Birking that have the same type of system. It's not. I don't know if this is accurate. if this is really accurate the way, because in here you have even springs inside and that stuff. Suspending lures, I never go sinking. I hate getting my lure snag, so I always go suspended, and 90% of what I have is floating. But either way, I the one that I have from, I think it's Beer King, it doesn't have the shaft where the weight works. It just has a hollow cavity inside of the plastic, and man, it casts so nice. It's like a missile, and it works pretty cool. I tried some for CVS and RAS, but again, no luck with sea dwellers in Portugal. So, but it looks quite cool. If the 15 or they had the 12 grams or something like that was available, I might get one to go after pike, because pike in Portugal really like them pencils. Other stuff that I found out new, at least for me, on the AliExpress, it's this edge. I doubt the measured distance, 120 meters. I think that, let me go back, I think that's what they claim. I've thrown 10 grams, I would say around 70, 80. But you're not throwing this with you are not getting 120 meters if you are fishing this pencil with the proper gear that you would fish this pencil. That, let's put it that way. So you are using a very springy bendy rod with a large surface reel. So it's quite hard. But 7 to 80 meters with this weight transfer system, it's doable. Especially if you go over 15 grams with no wind, but 120, it's a bit meh. I found some edge clone boxes. So this is the 3700 size, 14 inches. I think it's 35 centimeters. They look cool, I have to say. So the annoying part is that I've scoured the AliExpress. I may go on Alibaba and just annoy them, because I know that there's systems for this. I've seen them sold on Alibaba. The only problem that you have is you have to buy 7 boxes, and it's all crap. They will have 3 boxes just for wire jigs, or in this case like spinner baits, the big ones, double bladed spinner baits. So and you get like 3 boxes of that to get 2 of these and the parceled one. So if you just want one, I found this, it's not that expensive, it's 12 euros. Yeah, the Plano clone. I quite like them, especially for me. I'm so bad at fishing with surface lures. We all are. I am also not great with that. And one thing that you have to keep in mind is that confidence will go a long way in fishing. Technically it's not that hard. I've walked the dog on my like 3rd or 4th time. The problem is that it's a very specific bite. So with chub, for me it's almost impossible to catch chub on top water, because that's like autumn, sunny day, afternoon. It's quite hard. With bass this year, I've caught surface bass with floating soft plastics. Man, it's so nice. It's pretty good. But again, the conditions have to be right. So you have to have a lot of bass in grass pockets. So little caves inside of the grass. You have to have the water height from the top of the water to the tip of the grass. It needs to be perfect. And you cannot do it every day. Mihai 86. Now I prepare for when UA will ban lead, so I invest in tungsten now and it's cheaper. Man, I've been using tungsten for a long time now. The only annoying part is that when I'm fishing grass, I use the, I think it's Mary. There's a lot of brands that sell a cheb that is like a cone. And that's a lot better than fishing with a bullet, because then I have a snap, I can change my lure, I can go for a weightless plastic, I can go for a different type of Texas, I can go for a small tantum, and with a bullet I'm committed for whatever I have in there, and it's a bit annoying. Other than that, all my round chebs, unless I'm fishing on salt water and I'm going after like 4 grams, then I will have lead, because I don't fish that much that would be worth the investment. Everything on the 4 grams now for me is just tungsten. And talking about it, I even have in here some that I ordered from, I think, my 1111 video, if I can reach them all without disconnecting the cables. So oops. So what I have in here is 0.3 grams. The camera will jack off. Man, the more I put the hand, the worse it gets. So it's minimal. It's like, I would say it's half the size of the seed of a watermelon. It's very, 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 very small. I have 0.7 grams and I have 0.5 grams, which will be very useful for the whitebait fish from like Crazy Fish and Super Continente, and for some other spin polar plastics that are like, when you get 2 centimeter plastics, if you go over 1 gram, it will look ridiculous. But again, boxes, I just wanted for a store to grab a hold of the system of boxes, because you see this one from the side. This is a system. This is a different system from the ones that we have from Kingdom and others. I cannot remember. But if you go to the shop, you see this is a shop that sells this this box, and it's just a bunch of unrelated stuff. So they have fishing stuff, they have things for babies, they have like the garlic jig head, they have a lot of stuff. So yeah, but I also found another one. This one a little bit more expensive. I'm trying to find the cheaper version, but at least in here you have some brand, Akakuma. But look, it looks pretty awesome. Yeah, Ali Shinu is a great store. And it's also the guy that sells the micro jig heads for, I think, €7, a bunch of them. So it's pretty cool box. And let me try to show you. Yeah, this box, it's, as you can see, it's quite nice, and you have what it looks like. All of the small compartments have lids, which is, those are Plano Kios, those are 20 plus boxes. Yeah, But this is an early bird deal. I've seen these boxes float around on AliExpress for some time. This is a small one, so 28 centimeters, which is 3,600 size. And if you want the 3,700 size, it's 22 euros. But this box, I can guarantee that they will be coming more and more available on AliExpress, because I've seen them filling up on Alibaba, and that's one of the sources that I've used for to see what's coming up on AliExpress. So these ones are the same ones that have the probably the same factory that makes the ones for Cast King and Kingdom, because the lid, the scale that they have on the lid, it's exactly the same on the same exact spot. So they look pretty decent. But imagine having a box that weighs, just the box weighs 1 kilo. That's maddening. So this is the new stuff that I found. I didn't find a lot of new stuff, and it's a good thing. If I see new stuff on the 11/11 Black Friday sale, I just hope that is something like the Cast King Valiant Eagle Ultra, which is a small reel. I don't buy boxes with tackles and lures. It's no. This box is empty. These are empty boxes. I never buy pre-made unless it's like a assortment of weights or assortment of hooks. I think I buy now my nymph hooks because I'm always having problems with the sizes. I think I buy my nymph hooks on Serio store. And I buy a box that comes with a bunch of nymph hook, different sizes. But yeah, this doesn't have anything inside. It's just a box with a small compartments inside, and it looks quite ergonomic. So you have the places where you can put your fingers and pick up the small compartments, which is quite cool. Again, if you fish a little bit more heavy than me, this box might be for you. But what I'm finding out with the passing on of the time, I'm picking up less and less my big backpack, and I'm just grabbing sling bags and using like pouch on the front to have easy access to the things that I need, and all the extra stuff and filming gear I will put on the sling bag. Now I have the sling bag that I have from Autoton. I can even fit my net. So on the winter, because usually I might encounter bigger chub, and since I'm not wading, I might need to pull the chub if I'm using a super ultralight rod. So I even can I have the net with me, the telescopic net. So quite nice. Moving on, while answering your questions, if you have any, or if you just want to talk. Have you seen the Mayo clone tackle boxes? I think they're called Mayo or something. They are really handy for small jigs and micro lures, especially. Yes, I have the double-sided ones. They are quite nice because in one side you can put like, you know, the tantas from Supercontinente and the weight. I just put a bunch of them because some days the small chub are just terrorizing my plastics. So in one side I put the micro jigs. I get the slotted one, the foam with the slots, and I just put the micro jigs there. Some pre-prepared, and then on the other side I just put the soft plastics on the small compartments. That's pretty awesome. I also do the same for the soft plastics for trout. The only difference is in between, instead of having like the grid system, I have like the parallel spaces, which are bigger, and I can put like from 3 to I think 5 or 6 centimeters soft plastics in one side, and the bigger jig heads again on the other side. They are pretty cool. The funny thing is that I bought an original one on AliExpress from Mehu, and it was the only one that arrived broken. So the front plastic, it's a lot better, but it's also a lot how can you say it, brittle, so it can crack. It has more resistance, but it can crack. But the fitting on a Mayhew, it's better, and you will have different qualities on AliExpress. I have had some that are interlocked better than the others, but they are quite cool. And I also have a clone of the big box that they have for aging. That is awesome. That I think you might see it on my Twitch chat video, because usually when I go for Twitch chat, I always have like 2 or 3 rods with me, and I use the side attachment to put more rods. And it's just a blessing to have there all the jigs that you need, because I might have jigs, I might have like pencils, I need like paper towels to clean the hands, because I might catch a mullet there and they smell nasty. Mihaido 86, I found the best cross ever, better than the crazy fish. It's from Spin Polar. If it's the same format, I have them. They are TPR, so they will last you a lot longer. My problem is that in Portugal I have a very specific color that works great with the bass, and that color, it's the color, it's similar, but when you put it on the water, it's very different. Yeah, you also got broken ones, but what? Oh, which ones? The Mayhew or the Maybu? Because the ones that got broke for me, it was the ones from the OG Japanese brand that are made in China now. Moving on for the hardbait. So from Letoyo store, I have this little fellow, which is quite nice. I have, funny enough, this color. And I think I had this one, but I lost it. This one, it's probably the best color overall, because I really like all, and usually fish, especially if it has some translucent. Yeah, the Mayhew. Yeah, the plastic, it's too brittle on the OG's Mayhews. Sexy Ghost Minnows. Yes, they are good, especially from Letoyo. They run nice. You just have to keep in mind that every time you buy narrow lipped bait, they work best in slow current. So today I used some. They work very well on slow current, but if it's fast, it's just gone. With faster current, you need shorter, wider lips, or you will get screwed. And also depends, because when you get like the mount for the lip too much to the front, even if it's a beefy large lip, this sounds dirty for some reason, but either way, if it's mounted too farther on the tip of the lure, you also might get the loop of that on the lure, which is also very annoying. Also from Letoyo, I think this is imitation from Rapala or Shimano. I think it's Shimano, I'm not sure. I'm very bad with the original versions of this of the lures. So I had a Portuguese guy annoying me because I was promoting copies of lures, but I would say 80% of the time I don't know, and the other 20 it's because I was making a video and I just Google image the lures that I've bought to see what is the original, because other than that, I don't care. If a lure costs more than €5, I don't get it because it's guaranteed it will get on the tree. If I had a boat or I just waited, maybe I would invest in better lures, because from time to time you'll run in one lure that doesn't work properly, but most part they have been good. But basically this one reflects light, and you have a 5 gram version which might be cool for trout, and they have like a sort of sexy ghost minnow which I quite like. And I also like this color for some reason. It works quite well as soon as the water gets slightly not clear. Not a lot of them sold, so, and it's a pencil, so let's move on. So this one, specifically this color again, you see the pattern, either orange or maybe sometimes pink. Realistically, you don't have a lot of copies on AliExpress. They are inspired. Yes, I love to see, you know who, getting annoying with AliExpress. It's Americans, because they have such a huge market for themselves that they don't even acknowledge that most of US brands will copy Japanese stuff also, which is quite funny. And now we saw it because, hello Rokoyoko. And it's just funny. You saw now, because the internet and YouTube, the fluffy stuff. So all the cubes and all the worms with the skirting inside, and even the poop weights or the scat weights, all of them got made by local brands, and no one bats an eye. The only difference, it's this one, it's available to anyone. And again, the only reason that I started to buy stuff on AliExpress is just because I didn't have it available locally. So now we're starting to have something in here. Scruffy, oh no, I bet that's a chub candy in that white and orange cheek. Yes, it is. When the water is clear, is Pisca Maniac says Japanese copy Japanese products. That's 100% true. I cannot remember where, but what I heard is that actually in the US, brands give better deals to the original lure designers than in Japan. Japan it's even worse. So in Japan, you design a lure, the brand just say, I quite like it. Do you want to have your lure make? And that will be your honor. We will make you the lure that you design, and you will have it being sold on the shops, and you will see this much money. But mostly the stories that I hear in podcasts about JDM lures, it's usually like that. The creator gets screwed, the company sells them. They never, for some reason, most brands in Japan never care about scaling the production. And I'm not talking about quality, I'm just talking about scaling, because for the price they ask, they could for sure scale. Let me just adjust my camera. They could just scale a little bit up on the production, but they just don't care. And they also don't complain a lot, for the most part, about the cloning that happens on the US domestic market and on China. Yeah, but this specific color for chub is just... The only thing I might change on mine is the hooks. These hooks, for single hooks, they are crap. The hookup ratio. I just prefer the Letoyo style, the usual Letoyo style of hook, where you have the like almost a U or a V bend. Also from Letoyo, if you want to expose your your lures, your hardbait lures, look at this. It's a small crab that will lift your lure and show them to the world. It actually looks quite nice. But what I was saying, it's this sort of hooks. Change to barbless. Change to this sort of profile. I prefer it a lot better. It works better at pinning the fish because you have this cave over here, and this if you have a soft rod, and these ones will not bend. It's even though it doesn't say, they have like a coating. They feel like force hooks. They are very, very stout, and I quite like them. And you can buy the high, so like the normal ones that you would use for spoons are these ones, and the normal ones that you would use for lures are these ones. But lures vary. Sometimes you will have the eye running with the body. Sometimes you will have the eye on the lure itself against the body, and then you have the split ring, and that's quite. So just for safety, you can get one bag of each. They are quite nice. I've bought a bunch of different ones, and I'll be testing them through this winter, so I will let you know afterwards. Other store that also has a bunch of nice crankbaits and small lures is Histolure. Histolure has a very cool thing. You use Hayabusa. Hayabusa, it's quite difficult for me to get. Usually I get on a local store when I really need the barbless and I maybe need to go bigger. Man, why I'm so bad with Western brands. VMC, something like that. It's a 3-letter. I also have some from Owner. That's the only ones that I can get that are worth the money. And hooks are not so expensive even if you buy them locally. But look at this cute little fellow. Again, colors, I would go with something like this. And this one comes already with barbless hooks, which is quite nice, and double split rings. So but I was saying Histolure, it has a pretty good feature because even though it's, I would not say expensive, this is like cheapo crap brand that you can get on store price, but you get free shipping for most of the places on just one item, and you can look for Histolure on coins page on AliExpress, and sometimes they will have a nice fat discount. Also, Histolure has a lot of overlap with Letoyo, so you can compare prices, and if you just want one or two lures, Owner is the cheapest thing in Japan. In Europe it's 5 times more expensive. Yes, that's also true, but I quite like the wacky rigs, small hooks that they have, and they also have some small EWG hooks that are quite nice. Okay, this one, you see the same exact pattern than you see on the other one. on a different format. Again, the hooks are still crap. I don't like this format. This look like almost worm hooks, but just on a lure. But this for chub, quite cool. I also like these patterns for chub, but the problem for me is that I don't like the lip. Don't bite, doesn't swim. Depends on the where you get it. I have one of these that swims, and I have one of this with a crooked eye that doesn't swim. The one that I have that swims, it's from Histolure. But again, you have to have not a lot of current, because most of these are copies of lures that are sold in Japan for trout area. So you will have no current and they will work flawless with no current. If you have a lot of current, they will just that spiral. Okay, this is squarish. Other lures that I quite like, and they are sold by a bunch of different brands. If you are into, okay, the Letoyo one is bad. Maybe that's the one that I've got, because I have one that the eye is spray painted on top of the eye, and that one doesn't run as good. This one also works very well, at least in here. The only thing that I do to them is change the stupid hooks, because these hooks are not good for this. But these lures are pretty awesome. And I think it's this one, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's this one. It has fluorescent, so they will flash on the dark. I was fishing the afternoon like 1 week ago, and they will shine on the dark, these speckles, and it caught me some fish. So if you're fishing for chub on the UK or in Central Europe, they will go, at least in Portugal, they will go after fluorescent stuff. And I've had success, not catching, but with a lot of strikes on letting my crankbait drift on a tunnel, on a very, very dark tunnel. But these ones are money. They work very well. Unfortunately, in here they don't have the whole collection. So I have this one. I think it was the first one that I've got. I've got all the whites, and I have the pink one. Pink one works very good if you are over the water. So if you are on a bridge or something and you have a lot of water, fried egg with pepper, almost. If you are over the fish and you are on a bridge, it's pretty cool, because it will stay straight. You don't even have to work it. You just need to push your rod and put it wherever you want. Just don't push it too much to the side, or you'll start to loop, but it works great in catching fish. Just change the damn hooks, because they are not good. Again, I think Letoyo also have this lure, and these ones are exactly the same. Just buy the ones that are cheaper, or the ones that have the more colors that you want, because in here you don't have the full collection. And now probably one of the best brands, I would say one of the most solids. Here is forbidden to fish on the bridge. In Portugal, it's not really. Let's say you have the higher ground instead of the bridge. BLUX, I think I've ordered this or the Chelsea, I'm not sure. Again, this is a lure that you... don't you also need to face the belly hook the other way? Yes, usually I'll go one way. Okay, so in here you have both of them to the same, on the same way. Usually you will swap this one and it will face the other way around, usually. But I think that there's something that is more useful when you're fishing like spooks. I would say top water, it's a lot better, and with big, I would say top water and bigger hooks if you are going with single hooks, with bigger lures. With shove, I would say if I got, so let's say I caught 100 shove on cranks. If I had two, if I had two on the first hook, it would be accurate. I think I've already caught like 100 shove or more on cranks, and it's always the tail hook. So the only reason I sometimes don't change, it's because the probability of them getting hooked on the second one is lower if they are like this. Other than that, I would change it on bigger lures only. Crilly 04, you're not late, I'm still here. It would be too late if it was on the end of the stream. So, and thanks on the 4K. It's because of you guys. You are the ones that subscribe. Even though I have like, I would say 3,500 fake accounts subscribed with my own channel. Oops, I have... Oh, okay, I was here. BLUX. BLUX is a great brand. Not that expensive. And all the things that they sell, at least the ones that I've got, are pretty good quality. This one is money. Again, probably good for when the rain stops and the current starts to get slower and slower. This one also, that's why it has the fire in here. It had to cart because they are too good to pass. I would say this one also looks quite sexy. You cannot see really good in here, but this is pink and under 2 grams, 25 millimeters, so nice. BLUX also has probably the best segmented small baits. This is the BLUX Dr. Minor joint. This is a sinking one, 50 millimeters. The trebles are quite good on BLUX. 3.2 grams, so still very light. Look at this. The only thing that I have to complain about these ones is that I don't like chrome for some reason. Fender fingers. Ricardo's making me spend money, and the MLBS, Realm and Reflex are pure lure getting rich. I've got the Realm. It's a Predator's rod, but I've caught small chub with it, and you can feel it. So I've got the Pure Lure and the Nidivia Max, the Realm and the Nidivia Max on the lighter weight, the weights that I have. I know that the Nvidia Max will be a banger, but the Realm, I was like, it's too late for the best season. Xander and Pike are not here yet. So, but I went out with the Realm. Let me just see if I can. Oops, this is the unboxing of stuff, but I think... crap. I don't have the the video yet on my it's still on the camera, but I went out with it. I was fishing crankbaits, which is quite stupid to do with that rod. The rod is quite stiff, but you have sensitivity. So I was fishing on heavy current with 2 gram tungsten weight, and I was feeling when the tungsten weight was hitting the ground, and the ergonomics are just spot on. So video will be coming soonish on the realm. I just need to go a couple more times out, try to catch a bigger guy on it, and it will be awesome. Reflex arc is just an awesome rod. I just need to put line on some bait casters that I have in here, and I will be probably throwing crankbaits on the small creek with a reflex arc, because that rod can do it all. I trust BLUX. Their spinners are just incredible. I trust BLUX with everything. The darting heads, the darting jig heads are awesome. They have. It's not that they are better than other Chinese brands. It's that they have very good quality control. I think I never got anything from them that had any problems whatsoever. Also from BLUX, they have this little fella. I ordered this guy, and I think I ordered this one. This one, let me add it to the cart. So very inexpensive, 1.8 grams. Nice square bill, 26 millimeters, very, very small. It's a slow sinking, which lets me think. I don't have this one yet. This lets me think that this might be a good one, even with a little bit of current, because if it sinks, it will, in my head, I think it will swim a little bit better. Also, I have small guys in here. Look, the camera will not show, but this is smaller than my thumb. This is from Bass Legends. It's not on the video because I have not fished with it, but you can hear the rattle. I think it will be quite nice for chub. And I don't even know from which one this is. I also just got it. Very, very small square bill. Suspending and sinking lures for life. If I had a lure company, I would also say that. So that sounds very suspicious. Sinking lures are not for life. They are for like 5 minutes before they get snagged on the bottom. And from BLUX, you also have barrelless trout hooks. Unfortunately, in here you only have one option for eyes, but it's what most lures will need, this sort of eye. Again, these ones are also coming, so I probably try to give you some feedback when I get them, but I'm trying to do a more scientific approach to things, and that's what the last thing that I will be touching on today. Outkit also, you saw me buying some blades, and Outkit just has this, so very inexpensive. This is €1.53 for 5 pieces. Unfortunately, only available on gold, but this is a spinner that you can attach your own, and it's quite small, that you can attach your own jig head. So I'm in St. Louis. We have rivers, lakes, ponds here, all a short distance away. Those rods will get used frequently. Love your videos. Hello from the States. So you had Thanksgiving, so fat belly now. It's time to eat there, probably. Yeah, that's a good thing. Wait, St. Louis. That's East Coast? Yes, Missouri. Unfortunately. So, I also work in logistics. I hear you, man. Monday, it's in the restoration of independence in Portugal. It's a holiday, and I'm working. So, too bad. So, it's this St. Louis. I think anywhere on the US where you don't get like frozen crappy weather, and maybe you get in here. Um, why don't I have a Google Maps option? Let me check. Mississippi River, and let's close it. Yeah, this shit annoys me to that. Look at this. Look at this. Lake. Lake. Another lake. A lake. A state park with natural piers. More lakes. Smaller lakes. Another lake. Another lake. Another lake. And if we look, you have in here the main river, you have canals, you have a Waffle House, and more lakes. Man, this, and you come to this side, you have, it's like this is a fenced, or what you call a fenced community, that they have their own lakes. Now I will show you here. So let's, where I am, where am I? Still going up. So this is what I have. This is the river that goes through my village. Just river. So here is where you see me fish most of the time. This is the levee that I fish the winter. This is where I enter to wade. And this is where I fished a very, very small narrow creek. And it's just river. And if you zoom out, there's nothing. So the only lakes that I actually have one, something right behind my house. You see in here, these ponds, they have nothing. So in here, people don't put, not even bluegill, we don't have. Look, another one, it's plastic lining and nothing lives inside it, and that's it. If I want something big, we only have water reservoirs. So we have these ones, we have like these ones, and that's it. We only have like big dammed water reservoirs. where the big pipe, see where the big, which big pipe bridge? Let me check. Metz, France. So, river, yeah. Lake. Ah, screw you. In Portugal, I don't know if these are truly lakes, but if they are, man, you and more lakes. This crap. Let me try to show you one that might be annoying. So we have a lot of things that look like lakes, like near the coast, and they are just like they are not lakes. They are salt collecting facilities, very shallow, and they are just there so we can collect salt. Yeah, the best we can do it's this one. So this is Aveiro, which is a city. They have Rio Voga, the river. It's like very compartmented. You have some canals. I think this is where you saw me. Yes, this is where you saw me catch some bass on the stupid DC reel. I invite you to come free housing and I can wait you in Luxembourg. Man, if you can guarantee me that I caught perch in there, I would go on a heartbeat because I really want to catch some perch. Yeah, but basically this is I would say the best spot in terms of canals and lakes. It's this river. As you can see in here, you see a lot of bifurcations, a lot of canals. Look, but this this is the only place that we have, but we don't have a lot of different species in here. We have like bass, catfish, carp, barbel, trout can go in, I think. I'm not sure. But other than that, you have like the main river and 0 lakes. Very annoying. But what I was going through... Gobies. We had them here, but they disappeared. So what I will be covering on my next... And I want your opinion on this. So I've made some videos while I was pulling the slow oscillating spinning reels, and I've counted the amount of loops that the reel created while going from one full up and until it came down. So I've counted them, and I also measured the height of the spool, and that will give me a ratio. So funny thing, and you can see this is the Pure Lure. Jesus, NVIDIA, fix your crap. So this is the, I think I have pictures in here. This is the Pure Lure Pioneer reel. I also have the Shimano Ultegra in here. And I have the Shilent King Snake 2. all of them are supposed to have worm gears, and I think the king snake and the pioneer had like 20 loops from getting from the beginning of the spool until the end, and the Ultegra had like 7, and that was very anticlimactic. So there's that. Yeah, I have pictures in here. Let me try to center the pictures. These are better quality than my webcam. Don't mind the few last loops in here, but you can see that they are very, very straight. The reel didn't need to be shimmed. This is the line that I have. It's one of the new lines from Zukibo. It feels very, very smooth, and it's very, very round. But as you can see, it's almost perfectly flat, quite good. This is sort of a Vanford height ratio, which I think the Ultegra would benefit of, having a little bit of a higher spool. We have catfish up to 47 kilos, state record. Man, catfishing, I don't think I have the patience for that. And I see maybe you also see the channel, it's 618, something like that. It's a guy that probably has a zip code. Has his username, and it's just fishes, spillways mostly. So, but basically, very, very flat, very, very cool. Catfish in Europe is much more big. Depends on the variety of catfish, but yes, the whales, I think it's the one that I'm taking. It's huge. Cirulu gets huge. They get the same size and more weight than me. And we also have them in Portugal now. In here, in this area, south from where I live, we have channel catfish and catfish. And in this area over here, so center and south, we have the ones that Mihai is talking about. So the big, huge ones. Yeah, but so the reel that I'm talking is this one. Very, 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 very. Why this is very, very flat. The other reel that I'm talking about is the 2025 Ultegra. Where is the spool? It's here. So the spool, and the other one that I'm talking now, it's this one. Not this one. This is the example of the bad things. This one. And I have the pictures in here. Let's see if I can. Okay, so this is a close-up of my Ultegra. I will give it a couple of outings before I shim it, but I think it needs a little bit less height. But still you have like a valley. You see? It's not as flat. And this braid is much thinner. It's not much, but it's thinner than the one that I used on the other one. And it's not a thing of price, because the pure lure, it's more expensive than the Ultegra. But look at the king snake. Same exact line as on the Ultegra. And this is a 50 euro reel. Look at the line lay. I think it's not with the amount of line. But I think it just needs to, in this case, mine needs to go up a little bit. I think it needs just a tad bit of a trim, so it gets less windings on top and a little bit more down. But like out of the box, the King Snake had a better line lay. Now I just want to get the Luvius for some reason. I just want to get the Daiwa Luvius. But that will maybe for my birthday I get one from Japan or from Alex, or maybe I try to get a second hand one on Japan. I've seen at minimum the C2000, so the smallest size I've seen it was 23,000 yens. I think everything was 326. Yeah, under 150 euros. With shipping by DHL, so, and with guarantee no hassles on the how do you call it, the customs, which is what I like to hear. But man, look how cool this is. My only complaint is that this should be a little bit smaller. This is 198 grams, a little bit too big for my tasting, but it is what it is. And even this one, it has a lot of, I would not say a lot, I've seen worse, but the knob feels cheap. This is the King Snake, and there's some minimal but some movement on the handle, but line lay and smoothness, it's not that bad. I think after I shim the poorly cheap knob, it will be good. But the Shimano, I thought with the gearing that it has from the Vamford, I thought it would feel a little bit more special. What I will do with this guy is I will fish it a couple of times, and maybe then I will do some videos on upgrading this and upgrading some other wheels. I've already done one with the Cadence Elves, so that will be out at some point. Like I did the autopsy of my semen. I did the upgrade of the bearings for ceramic on the very, very small Cadence Elves baitcaster. So going through the last messages while I was playing with my reels, I mostly catch bluegill on ultralight and BFS. Bluegill in here, it's quite hard unless they are very dumb, which it didn't happen this time, this year in Portugal. They were still very straightforward, because last year, the last times I was out for bass, because last year we had like autumn and this year we didn't have. The last times I was out for bass, I was catching bluegill on straight like cross. Let's do a donation and get him the reel. Nah, don't need to do donations. Affiliate is enough. I really don't want to go that route. I think that's something that should be spontaneous. That's why I don't do like, you can only ask me a question if you do a donation, or like my tiers almost have the same benefits on members area, and I just started it because I wanted to post some videos of me catching bass, and the location is just stupid. And by stupid I mean it's actually quite a gorgeous location, but it was very telling, and Portuguese folks, I almost said fuckers, would decimate them very, very quickly. That's why. But yeah, I really want to test the Luvias because then because I had the Revros, I had the Sienna, I would not bother with the Nasi. Maybe I will wait for a new Legalis to come out or something on that platform. I have the Regal, so I have all the budget price points that I need. So now I have a nice space to compare with the Chinese reels. But I have to tell you that the Linyu, I really wish they just make it like I would say 60, 65, maybe even 70 euro, and just fix the little quirks that it has, because in terms of line lay and what it could get with smoothness, it would be a banger. The only thing that I'm having a hard time to find is rods. So everywhere people can buy the Luvias or the Ultegra or the Sienna, Revros, the Regal. Actually, they don't, because I have the Chinese version of the Regal. And I have to tell you something. I think the Regal, even though it's like a tier down or maybe 2 tiers down of the Ultegra, feels smoother. It's very, very weird, but it feels slightly smoother than the Ultegra, I have to say. But I was telling, rods, I actually have a hard time to have any idea of what rod should I use as a yardstick for, to compare with the Chinese stuff. Because, and there's the how can I say, there's also another thing about it, because imagine, so I can let's say monetize videos, basically being very, very honest. I don't do paid promotion, so I had like 2 days ago a brand, Chinese brand, contact me to promote some stuff. I will not really go there because the brand has some good stuff and some stuff that is not as good, and I've covered them on the channel previously, and I will continue to and I will continue to cover that brand. The things that I really want from them, I will buy them, as I usually do. But they approach me to do a paid promotion, and that's a no-no. That really, it's a place that I don't want to go, unless it's something that I will not cover. Like one thing that would not bother me a bit would be, let's say, apparel. I don't care about apparel. I think it's a thing that even if I try to cover, it's worthless. If someone wants to dress me and pay me to be dressed with their clothes, I have no problem with it. Accessories, man. If someone came to me and said, "Hey, Ricardo, here, have some money to..." Paid promotions can be good only if you have the freedom, to be honest. You never have freedom. That's the tricky part. Unless you are like a high rotation channel, you will never have freedom, because now I get, imagine, let's say 150 euros and you do the video. If the product was of my interest, I would do the video no matter what. I think this year I have more products like tests and unboxings than weeks. The only thing I do is I will say to a brand, man, can you can you sell me this at cost so I can do the review quicker if it's something that is like more expensive. And some brands will say, sure, what do you want? We'll send it to you. Some brands like Me Fine will send me prototypes, but will not send me any discount on a rod that is already on the market, which is quite weird. So they send me prototypes to test and be part of the testing team, and they don't send me like rods at cost. I have to buy them. And even when I ask them, please, I think they only did that one time. I asked them, please don't send the rod through choice. Send me the rod by DHL. Anything else, please don't sell me as a choice item because it will get tagged on customs, and I really have a short window to do the review because of the weather. And they did it. Other than that, even when I asked to give me another option than choice, because for some reason, so on this phone, which is my personal phone, everything that I order through AliExpress, if it's a long tube, it will get stopped at customs. Even with the right paperwork, everything right, and AliExpress don't mess a lot with customs documents. It's not like Timo or Chain. And I got my work number. I just created an account. I do choice with my name, my address. It comes through here. And now, because brands have approached me without me approaching them first, I have an undisclosed account that will go to either my parents or my in-laws, so I can buy things, so I don't get, let's say, things that have been tempered, especially reels. I never search to be sponsored. I can fish how I want, no stress. I have a friend. He's sponsored by LMAV. It's crazy how you don't take pleasure to fish anymore. It's just time to lost to sell stuff. In terms of non-China brands as benchmarks, maybe Favorite is the only real good ultralight supplier. My problem with Favorite, it's not a problem. I actually work with them in my Portuguese channel. It's one of the brands that I have the ability to order directly from the catalog. Favorite, Select, Mikado. I cannot remember the other one. There's another one. Heart. There's some brands that I've pushed for the ultralight market in Portugal, but I don't think there's Favorite, at least the same products in the US, and they are not present on Asia. And the Mi Fine Nano Jig, it's a copy of the Favorite Nano or Blackbird, something like that. And Crazy Fish also have a more expensive version of that rod. I think the order of copy goes Crazy Fish, Favorite, Mi Fine. It's something like that. I'm not sure. But I was thinking something of like a Shimano Soare BB or something from Daiwa, something that is available worldwide. I know that in the comments it's basically guys from Eastern Europe, Central Europe, UK. You have some guys from the US. But if you go through the metrics, so people that watch my videos, Mikado Vix light rods, they are pretty good for the price. Even in Portugal they are very inexpensive. I think you can buy them for 20 euros. They have a M-Craft lineup, which are basically MiFine rods, and they are very similar in price to the MiFine. I think the M-Crafts in here are some 40 something euros. I have one with a holotip, so basically the Pegasus, and I've got Twitch Shad with it, I've got a big carp with it, I've got a bunch of stuff with it, with the ice fishing reel, a 500 size, very shoddy reel, but just works. Also from Mikado. That's in the Portuguese channel. I don't post a lot, but everything is bought locally. Westin, it's not. I think outside of England and maybe a couple of other northern European countries, it's not that well established. And that's my problem with most known fishing rod companies. So you will always have people fishing with Shimanos. You will always have people fishing with Daiwas. You might have people fishing with man, I cannot remember the guys that make the Simar, the Okuma. You have some guys with Pen. You have sometimes some guys with like local brands. In Portugal, we have Vega. You have Heart. You have Savage Gear. Yeah, don't buy Savage Gear. That's one thing that we have in Portugal. We had I think he's probably the biggest guy that covers freshwater in Portugal. He was a lot of years with Savage Gear. Some people who have some rods from Savage Gear, but basically what people use in Portugal is the Mayfly from Savage Gear for barbel. So there's that, but yeah, basically it's most what they sell. It's like the soft plastics in here. But why don't you like Savage Gear? I have no opinion on them. I have nothing from them. I think the Mayfly, it's too big, and it's very specific to a place. The Heart for 900 euros, but I think Heart, it's like a brand that is only present from, I would say, France down. France, Spain, Italy, Portugal. We have a lot of guys doing LRF with Heart stuff. Even the apparel, like the floaters and the wet waders from Heart. And I'm waiting for some Heart spinning reels. 150 grams. They have like a emeralds sort of looking reel. Yeah. Scruff UK, you hit the nail on the head. Mitchell and Berkeley. I might go there for very inexpensive stuff. Mitchell MX. I had one, right? I think you can even see on the beginning of the channel, there's probably videos of me fishing with a Mitchell MX telescopic and Mitchell MX. Abu Garcia, it might be a good one, but like in Portugal, I cannot buy. It's easier for me to buy a major craft in Portugal, or even a graphite leader. Funny enough, than the whole range of Abu. Yeah, but Abu, I really have to do some digging because I want something that you can buy. Let's say South. So if I go on my YouTube studio and I want a rod that you can be able to buy it on the 10 countries, or let's say even less, 7 countries that watch my channel the most, the long stuff videos, so not shorts. I bet you That is the US, Germany, Great Britain, let's see. Let's see. What can I... Oops, was not here. Okay, this is what I want. So let's say the last year. And if we put the type of content by videos, no. Cities is a fun one. So let's go by time. So watch time. Okay, basically now we have it. Watch time on the last year. We have US, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, Sweden, Malaysia, and Poland. So, and the rest it's Philippines, Brazil, Italy, Portugal, France, and Canada. And you have like a small pocket in South Korea and Russia, Japan, Thailand, and then it just starts to be like residual. But if I go like from this like United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, Sweden, Malaysia, Poland, Philippines, and Brazil. But if I correlate that with affiliate sales on AliExpress, I would say Belgium, Ukraine, and I think there are a lot of folks probably using VPNs to watch because I have a lot of affiliate sales on South Korea for some reason. There's maybe one guy that is watching my videos and buying everything from the affiliates. Ukraine, Belgium also, and Germany a lot. So a lot of stuff from Germany. But basically these are the target countries that I'm looking for the gear that is like readily available. So man, my shoulder is still crapped up where I was at. I think I covered everything that I have. So if you have any more questions, but basically this, I have a bunch of reels. I don't know how I will do, but I have the ratios from height to loops counts. I have the video footage to serve as evidence, even though it's like very bad footage. It looks like a OnlyFans for my feet because it's like a top-down view of me spooling the reel, and I'm holding the spool tensioning thing with my feet. But other than that, I am counting the loops and expect that to be on the unboxing, or maybe I'll do a separate video just comparing the claims of the slow oscillation because I had more reels in there. I have the King Royal Megatron. I have a very, very cheap Chi-Length, I think TS. I had basically all the reels that I've bought, I filmed them also to serve as comparison. I have the Surunoya Francis, and I had the Castro, not the Castro, the Valiant Eagle 2, and I'm missing one. What is the one that I have missed? Yeah, basically I think that those are the ones that I've did. So pretty awesome. So if you have any ideas for videos, I think I want to do more of this sort of talking videos because wintertime sucks. Um, and the fishing sessions will be very, very quick, and I will probably have easier time editing. And I think I want to do some different ideas. I started to work actually on the first script. The invite is for real. 40 rods. You don't need to bring one. Yeah, if I want to go to Matt's to catch some perch, I might go, and I might do some reviews of the stuff that you have that doesn't match the things that I have. So it. But I was saying I'm actually working on the first script for the Visit Portugal series. So there's that. The other thing that I want to do is like I don't know if you ever watch videos that is like outtakes. I want to do something like that, like outtakes on fishing. Hey Ricardo, how about a video on how to make the most coins on the best way to use them to save money? If you haven't already, I always wonder if I'm doing it right. You mean the coins on AliExpress? Basically, the only thing that you have to keep in mind with coins is that you should check in every day on the coins page, just collect the coins. Always collect the coins after a purchase. And you should go on the discounts. You imagine, like, for some time I had S Fishing, which is a good brand of soft plastics, and Histolure that I just cover on the crankbaits. And they had like 55% discount with coins. The only thing with coins is that you can only get one type of the article, but you can get multiples. So if you find a good deal, like more than 35% or 15%, just a search, because you have a search bar on the coins page, just search for the brand, because sometimes if it's like a small store, they will mess up how they set up the coins discount, and everything will have the same discount. So I abused Histolure and S Fishing for a long time with that. I think X Lures or X something, they had like tungsten, and I've took advantage of it. They had like 45% discount in coins in tungsten, but it was a choice item. So what did I do? I bought, I think 3 or 4 bags each time, and I paid, I think 10. The only thing that you have to do if it's a choice item, so it's not like Histolure that most things are free shipping, so you can order one crankbait at a time. With I think I'm almost sorry, it's X something. It's orange bags of tungsten cheb weights. I've just ordered enough to make more than 10 euros, so I get the free shipping with choice, and I ordered like 4 bags of 2-gram tungsten cheb weight, or 1.5, and then I just make that. That's how you can make the most out of the coins. And then you know that there's always stores that will allow you to use more coins, like Pure Lure. It's 5%. Most of the stores will be 1%, but basically that's it. But coins lately has been not, I'll not say not the best. Usually when there's big sales, the coins will go. When there's no sales, the coin deals will go up, and they might vary from location to location. So I have a friend in Norway, and we don't get the same deals depending on the spot. Yeah, but I'm dabbling with. I still have a lot of how to's to do, but that's one thing that I really want to touch only if I don't have anything else, and if people really want it, like how to use a baitcaster, how to set up a ultralight combo, how to um, I don't know, how to fish for chub, how to that type of stuff. I will be doing a lot of videos on reel upgrades and reel maintenance. That's one thing that is not touched a lot on YouTube, especially on the perspective of someone that doesn't. I don't. I am very honest. I'm very good at figuring out how things work, but I don't start a video doing like exactly knowing how a thing will work. So I always start digging in something with a like a clean slate, and I just like with what I did with the cement. I had no idea what had broken. I didn't have like a visual idea where the pin was, and I just follow the logic. So that's a different approach. Abo must be. Do they still do the Caribou's range of water? That's the question. Yes, they make. At least I was seeing Japanese like tackle web store, and they still have it. How to catch something? That's all about the channel. So this year I think I fished like in 80 different days or something like it. Let's call it 82 days. I skunked 5 times. Yes, I think that's about it. So I've skunked 3 times for trout. No, actually, I skunked 2 times for trout. I've skunked 1 time in salt water. I think I skunked one day in everything. I even come in here to catch shove and I couldn't catch it. And I skunked in salt water again. So basically that's it. In I would say 80 days, I skunked like 4 or 5 times. That's why I choose ultralight. Neil 3108. Yeah, sure, that's understandable. Setup. I've had a venom and small weight caster for months now, and I haven't got the confidence still grabbing spinning gear. You are lucky because you have a lot of species that you can fish on the winter. Next year, I will try to fish more. You maybe don't have idea, but if you watch the videos, I've went to a lot more. I like tripled or quadrupled the spots that I have available for fishing. So as soon as bass, so as soon as it's spring, I would try to catch barrel and trout. So as soon as the days get a little bit longer, for now it will be just chub because it's not worth it to waste time going after other things. But other than that, next year will be probably even more. I will try to go to the 150 days fishing. And now my kid is older. When I'm like home, when I have a day off during the week, I will pick the kid from school and go directly to the bass or twitch chat spot. So probably more bass and twitch chat videos next year. I have some more predator rods, so maybe I would go after more barbels this year because they are the hardest fighting fish that we have in Portugal. I will try to do Xander, but Xander, it's very complicated because it's very easy to do on the summer if you have a boat. But in the winter, you just have to be lucky if you're trying to catch them from shore, from the bank. Yeah, the Mifine outrange, it's outlier over rod. The blank, it's not that special, the quality of the blank itself, but as a product it works so good. It's a hollow tip, I think it's 24 ton blank. It's just so much fun. I don't put it so high on the tier list because I don't think the rod is that good. It's like the glass rods, the cheap glass rods. They are not the best of the that you can get for that price point, but they are so much fun. The best time for me is winter for sand. Yes, but in here also. So if you see pictures of Portuguese guys catching, the best time it's winter if you are fishing from shore. But it's actually quite hard. So you'll catch like 2 or 3 in Portugal, and that's a good day. Maybe 5. It's a stupendous day. But if you're fishing on a boat on the summer, and you are with you don't even need a live sonar. You just need a depth gauge, like a down scan sonar, like the very very cheap ones, like a Garmin Striker 7. As soon as you find a spot that you have like a couple of markings and the water is a little bit colder down below on the bottom, you can catch like 40, no problems, doing like a 40 Xander day, like that. So quite easier on a boat. Yeah, 10 to 20 a day. Maybe your river it's not that wide, or I don't know, because Xander in here, also people eat it. Maybe it's that because we had Xander. So where you see me fish, if you, I don't know if the video is out yet. Yeah, on the like the Surunoia Spirit Fox rod, you saw me catching chub with a small spoon under the bridge. On that bridge we had Xander like 6, 7, 8 years ago, but it's all fried and cooked by now. Actually, it's again on the ocean in the form of fecal matter, because people ate them all and caught them all. Yeah. It's protected here so they can multiply. Not a lot of people are eating it anymore. People in here even eat pike. So if you will eat pike, and the funny thing is that you go to them and they have like a bag with 2 or 3 or more pikes in them, like even like this size pike. They will take everything, and you go to them and they say, how do you eat it? Because it's full of like bones and it's a very tough skin. So we open it and then we put on water with lime juice for 3 days. Okay, I think if you do that with a third, you can eat a third. Doesn't mean it's any good. If you put anything 3 days on a marinade, it will taste like the marinade. Anyway, so I'm starting to write the. I never understood why you take more than one or two. Like fresh fish is better. No, because people are retarded. I don't eat fish. I do not like it. Funny thing, I love bass. Bass and zander are probably the best fish that you can eat on from fresh water, and I don't eat them. One of the best things that you can eat, actually, it's like zander are non-existent in North England, where I am. I have a couple of missions south, but only manage one from the River Trent. It was a 7 pound nice fish. It's the opposite here. They are cold. But they are cold because they are invasive, or they are cold because people are. It's like the Hunger Games. Because in Portugal, it's like the more you can catch, the more you can take with invasive species. But the douchebags that take everything will also take the protected species. So I had my father the other day. He likes to fish with floater with maggots for barbel on the current with a pole, and he was fishing for what he was fishing. He was not actually fishing for barbel. I think he was fishing. He was fishing for something else. Either way, it was on the close season for barbel, and there was a guy fishing with a live fish, and he caught a barbel, and the barbel was undersized. So let's take in account the things that were forbidden that he was doing. Fishing with live fish is forbidden in Portugal. He was fishing for. He kept the barbel that was out of the season. So I think it's from April to May or March to May, something like that. You cannot cull the fish, and it was even under the limit. So he committed 3 offenses, and I don't know if he had even a fishing license. So there's that. At least a triple combo of infraction he did, and nobody cares. Or since I've moved north, I was never asked for my license or whatever I was doing on the water. But myself, I can understand because I have a camera, and police, even though they pass through me to do like water quality testing, like a couple of times, never asked me anything. But yeah, I understand. I have a camera. It would be weird for me to be committing illegalities, but either way. Yeah, we have many invasive species that cause a lot of trouble. Sadly, it seems Zener get the most attention. In Portugal, every one of them will get attention. But mostly now in here, it's like big catfish that gets a lot of the testing. Xander is eating a lot, like a lot. This is a problem when entering a new water. After 20, 30 years, it's getting normal, like nature will regulate. The problem in Portugal, it's that we have very good, how do you call it, water, I'm missing the word. You ain't gonna get in trouble if you throw it back, Neil. I mean, or two, Xander is just a dream. What them? It's like the guys that like they are vets for for water dwellers, biologs. Either way, that's crazy to think of. Of course, fish are very rarely eaten over here, but our rivers are full of washing machines, shopping trolleys, and condoms. So, funny enough, if you fish in the north of Portugal, you're probably eating shit because we have still a lot of textile industry, and they will put everything back on the water sometimes, allegedly with failures on the water treatment plants. And you are eating fish that was on very very pure putrid water. But in Portugal, the authorities, let's call it them, the guys that do the studies, usually are subsidized by either the electricity companies that own the dams, municipalities, or like a couple of like companies, they or the EU. And you can look at the problem on three different levels. It's the species invasives and will deregulate the ecosystem, yes. It's pollution a problem, yes. It's every river in Portugal almost being dammed, yes. But they usually stay focused on the first one. So what is common between bass, catfish, to some extent zander, bluegill, chub, that the Portuguese native species don't have? They thrive with lower oxygen, and they thrive even with low current. So like more still waters, let's call them. So barbel, usually you will see barbel on the current. We don't maintain our like ecological water flow, so you will see, you've seen me wading in my hometown river, which is actually a river, it's not a creek, and you have like this water level. You see the barbels on the summer when it's scorching hot and they have like this much of water to swim in, and they are like lethargic and you can almost pick them by hand. The problem really it's the largemouth bass. And the funny thing is that the river where I've caught the most different species, it's a river where you have zander, trout, largemouth bass, bluegill, Louisiana, how do you call it, cross, a lot of stuff. And you have a lot of fish. You know what you have a lot? Water flow and a very good water level through the year. You have a lot of plants. You have a lot of riffraff water with a lot of oxygen going in on the water. And you also don't have a lot of pollution. And guess what? All the species live there. You have plenty of trout there, which is like our darling. It's a place where I see the most trout, actually. And you also have plenty of largemouth bass and plenty of like mullet, carp, barbel, a lot of stuff. Catfish. It is crazy to see a 2-meter catfish in 50 centimeters of water. So if you saw my intros for like the infill test or whatever I call it, it's the video of me with a round reel losing a barbel in between trees where the braid just snapped. Funny thing is that barbel was in such low water that when you see him jumping, he's not jumping from swimming, he's jumping off touching the bottom of the river, which is just weird. And this year, since the water flow was so bad, I have yet to see barbel in my area, like the spot where I usually go to fish. That's how hot the water was. But the blame is to be put on largemouth, zander, pike, and catfish. And another problem that I just recently discovered. So I don't use my Facebook Marketplace, but it seems that there's a lot of people selling freshwater fish on the and saltwater fish without having a commercial license. So nice. This is a nice segue for me to tell you that I'm planning on doing a series on like a postcard for fishing in Portugal and Portugal as a fishing destination for Europe. Yeah, but again, I lost my point a lot of times. Yeah, I'm planning on the series. I think I will start with a very easy one. Because I will start with my hometown river with Ave, and it will be like a very simple. The Chinese restaurants are buying them. Yeah, again, if you marinate it enough and the Chinese folks understand that, you will be able to eat anything. Yeah, but basically my idea for the visit Portugal videos is like, where the hell is, so in here you have the airport in Porto, which is like 50 kilometers. My idea is to like start the visit from here. So if you are coming with Ryanair, you can go to Porto, I think from most airports in Europe, very, very cheaply. And my idea is coming from this point, at least on the beginning of the series. So it's actually things that are close to me. And I will try to divide it by rivers. So like in Porto, you will have Douro. I think the beginning of the season will be something like it. So you will have the Ave, which is my hometown river. You will have Douro probably. We will have Lima, in this case Cávado. You will have Lima, which is the next one up. Here it is. And everyone is speaking French where? In Porto? Maybe in the couple, like in 2 weeks, we'll have a lot of people speaking French in here where I live, and some German, because we have a lot of people in Germany from here. That's what I think will be the start of the series. I'm in Porto, yes, probably. So basically, this one I will not cover because this just disgusts me. This is the River Minho. This is in between Portugal and Spain, and I'm not exaggerating. The rules listing for fishing this river, it's like this, and they will measure. They will measure the spacing on your trebles. And you cannot fish with small stuff in here. I think the minimum length for a soft plastic, it's like 7 centimeters, something like stupid like that. So, but basically from that side, it's Spain. Funny thing enough, I can fish in Spain with my saltwater license. I can fish. So this is the end of Portugal. I can fish all this coast with my fishing license. And you see, this is a lot more juicy for saltwater fishing than Portugal. You see a lot of a lot more contour on the coast, a lot shallower coast. Yeah, it's Galicia. Look at this big dam. In here I cannot fish, but on freshwater I can. So my idea is basically cover this. So the river Ave will come from here, and I fished in here, and my idea is to cover like the biggest points, and I will stop. Oops. I will stop on the or start. Maybe it's that is a better way to do it. I will start on the like in here where the river starts, and I will move my way down. I don't know if I will try if it's good to cover restaurants or something like that, but you can also give some feedback. I might do specific spots. I have no idea yet. I am still. I'm very keen on an idea of explaining the transportation means. So you fly it into Porto. This is where you can go by train. This is where you can go by bus. This is where you can go if you rent a car. Maybe that's something I will approach. This is the spots where you should stay. Or where you should start where you can't eat, finish where you can eat. Man, if you come to Porto, you'll have a lot of actually you have a lot of spots to eat anywhere. So if we go in the finish of the river Ave, this is the end where it meets the sea. Look, I will just open a random restaurant, and this is octopus, and it actually looks quite delicious. This is something, yes, I don't. So this is codfish. This is very, very fancy stuff. You will not see me here for sure. Yeah, but for sure it will have some nice restaurants in here, but you see my point. But basically this is where Ave, and I will be covering some spots, because in here you can come to this town by how do you call it, metro, subway. Yes, that's the word that I'm looking for. You can get a subway from Porto to here. You see, this is the subway station, and the subway stops or ends in this case right in Povo, which is like also a very cool spot to eat. But basically, yes, it's look. You can go from, actually you can go from the airport. You see, this is the airport. From the airport you can grab the subway. So you have a station in here, and you can go in here, and you can fish the end of the Ave River just by metro, which means that you can also go to Douro. So that's it. And Douro, I cannot do a full cover of Douro because Douro starts in Spain. So there's that. But as you can see, there's a lot. Oops. There's a lot of transportation. I think this will be train. Yes, these are trains. So you see, there's also a lot of places that you can go by train. Still working on how can I approach the series and do something meaningful without being overextending myself. So it's something that will take a lot of time. That's why I want to start with Ave, which is a lot more approachable, because like River Ave, it's quite narrow and it's like this. Why I'm pointing at the screen? It's I'm being a bit dumb, but basically it's from here to here, so it's quite easy ordeal to approach. So actually it's from here to here. The other ones, I would think I will approach them from the airport perspective. So where should you go if you go through Porto Airport? So, but we have quite good spots. So look at this. This is like the end of the Lima River. Oops, this is a video. So this is on the top of a mountain that oversees the city, and for some reason, so yeah, you can see the river on the background. Look, pretty cool stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do next year. It will take a lot of time and effort. That's something that will be always on the back burner, but that's something that I really want to do. But again, feel free to that, because I have that. I have like the hot takes or opinions or something on, like, one thing that I have a very weird opinion. It's why the hell are bale wires so thick, or that type of stuff. Why do we have like monocoque butts on rods? They are useless. Give me a full grip or shave me like 10 grams of the rod. That's one thing that I think Chinese market needs to go after. It's lightness on the rods. So a lot of opinions to be made. And also I think now that I have some voice, and I'm not saying this to brag myself because it can be bad, that will reverberate. I had guys ask me opinions from Ever grip. It is what I love. My problem with Ever grips, it's in full grip. Ever, it becomes a little bit weird, I have to say. If it's a full grip, for some reason I don't like Ever. I like Ever when it just runs from here to here. That I like. If it's more than that, it has, I don't know, it's weird. It's actually weird. For that I prefer cork, or give me something like you would put on a tennis racket or a paddle racket. Something more grippy. My problem with Eva, that's for somehow doesn't occur to me with cork. It's then when you have slime, like with Shove, they are very slimy on the winter. Sorry for me being always messing with my beard. I just put, like, for the first time, conditioner, and it's messing with my senses. If someone on the comments has ADHD, they will understand. It's like changing the type of socks. It starts to mess with me, so I'm getting like weirded out by it. But anyway, I was saying that I cannot remember. The grips. So if it's a full grip, I just want something that it's less springy than Eva. I think that's that. And Eva, if it doesn't have any contours, that sometimes it will happen. When it's slimy, the slime gets all over it and it stops being grippy. I've been messing up with some carbon weave grips, and I like them. They are also nice. The Realm has it. The Nadivia Max has some sort of similar stuff. A little bit more harder, but it's grippy. The Lemoran rods that you can buy on Marvelous Store also have them. It's actually quite nice. Look, dams. I have one. I think that in the winter will be bad. So I will just go through, just open in here quickly. Again, I think it's too late to say it, but everything that appeared as usual on the video, it's linked on the description of the video. If you have a hard time finding the crankbaits, they are on the description. Actually, I also order, other than the crankbaits, I've ordered the Zukibo Nanofill, the Zukibo Titanium Coat, and the 836. So I can fish with gloves. Okay. I've ordered some more gloves. I ordered the Zukibo gloves that look like the ones from Purelure, because I lost the Purelure ones on the vacations. And I ordered some winter gloves because it's in here, it's too humid near the river. It just I have some I have tendinitis on the hand, and when the cold enters through here, it's a goner. I just feel flaming towards my until the elbow. It's very annoying. So bye Scruff UK. I'm also almost calling it a quits, but again, if you have any more questions, feel free, or any suggestions, because I'm really trying to expand a little bit the repertoire of videos. That's why I'm also doing the lives, because for some reason I had the idea on my mind, because I don't I did the channel as a repertoire, as a repository of reviews of things that you can buy on AliExpress for ultralight. Thank you. I will go to my wife. Is kind of nervous. I don't know why. Maybe because you are watching a guy live streaming and it has fishing gear on the background. And the only thing she can hear is ka-ching, ka-ching, and the minus with the red on the bank account. Thank you for watching, and I think I also will call it a quits, because I'm feeling my throat going, and I didn't cheers Scruff. I'm feeling my throat getting upset with me for not drinking anything, so I'm almost sure that I will call it also a day. But again, I think by the Christmas time I will be a couple of days in the house, and I'll probably be doing more lives by then, because no one will be fishing on that time, and I'll just take my time to do some lives and explore a little bit more ideas. Maybe do my hot takes on just scribe them somewhere ahead, and just do the my rants on a live show, because it's better, because it has some back and forth with, now that I have a comment section that it's alive, on the live streams, which might be good for like a rant video. So I think everyone has the questions and input in. I think I will also call it a quits. We are, where do I have the timer? 2.5 hours. So I think it's a good time to wrap this up. So I will be fishing for chub. I think I still have some canned videos with bass. Don't be weirded out for me appearing in a t-shirt catching bass on some reviews coming on the next few weeks, or even Twitch ad. But I had some things canned, and now that I changed a little bit the format to have everything in one video, so unboxing and infill test, it will be a little bit mismatched, but after that it will be chub for the foreseeable future and a lot of cranking, and after that hopefully we'll get some trout, zander and pike, especially pike. I really want to catch pike in ultralight. And I think that's it. I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.